Nick, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. This is a team coming into draft season, most talked about team in the NFL. But we've been talking about on and off all offseason, just kind of smoke screens, how close to the chest Ryan Poles plays things, just all the things that they've been doing right in their ability to hide their moves under the guise of nobody knowing exactly what they're going to do. This latest move, I think there's a little bit more than meets the eye. Let's get into the article and talk more about it on the other side. This is from NBC Sports as well. The Bears sent a large contingent to watch Caleb Williams throw at USC Pro Day in Los Angeles. General Manager Ryan Poles, Assistant GM Ian Cunningham, Head Coach Matt Eberflus, Offensive Coordinator Shannon Waldron, Quarterbacks Coach Kerry Joseph were among the Bears' representatives, but the Bears had another team member watching as well. Newly acquired receiver Keenan Allen showed up dressed in Bears gear as well to support Williams at his pro day. Nick, this is quite a crowd of people to come out to a pro day. I think this is a really interesting move by the Bears. I think you have interesting insight on this one, but Bears fans, in the comment section below, we're getting closer and closer to the draft. We're almost in the month of April. This is your last chance to make your predictions. What are the Bears going to do with the number 1 pick? Do they keep it and draft Caleb Williams? Do they keep it and draft somebody else at the quarterback position? Or maybe even not a quarterback? Or do they trade out of the number 1 spot? Let us know in the comment section below what your final predictions are. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this latest showing by the Bears?
Look, it's as a organization, and namely Ryan Poles, since he's taken over the general manager job, he's done a great job keeping everything so close to the chest, keeping things guarded, right? To try and figure out what the Bears are maybe leaning one way or the other, you got to kind of like read between the lines, listen to Poles' comments, hear what a random agent is saying, listen to an insider, and kind of like map it all out to just try and maybe get an idea where Ryan Poles is going, right? He keeps things so close to the chest. They're never very demonstrative at all in terms of whatever direction they're going. That's why the trade last offseason of the number 1 overall pick worked out so well for them. And that's why it was really bizarre that such a massive contingent came out to watch Caleb Williams, right? And I know people are saying, well, watch the guy who's going to be the number 1 overall pick. But they have the film. They've seen this guy. They're going to have probably bring him in for an interview if they haven't already. They're allowed to do that. And I think they certainly will, again, if they haven't already. And so you got the college tape. Why didn't you see him throw at a pro day, right? Pro days are famously inept at evaluating quarterback talent. Zach Wilson had a heck of a pro day, right, for the New York Jets, and we all know what happened with his career. So, so why would the entire Bears front office, head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach go out? Why would they spend all that time and effort? And why would they deliberately bring out Keenan Allen as well? Now, look, I know he's still in the Los Angeles area, but still, that's bizarre. You don't see that a lot. I think there is a better than 0% chance here. Ryan Poles is throwing up a massive smokescreen here. I think he's trying to oversell his demand, his trying to basically fake his overhypeness for wanting to draft Caleb Williams. I think he's considering trading with Washington, right? It's been no secret that Washington, the new Commanders regime, wants Caleb Williams. Their offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, obviously coached Caleb Williams as an analyst in college at USC. Right? This is a Washington football team that's been looking for a quarterback for a very, very long time. Caleb Williams from the DC area, new ownership, new GM, looking for the fresh start. They'd be willing to give up a whole lot to just move up 1 spot to draft Caleb Williams. I think everyone knows that. I think this is the Bears and Ryan Poles overselling how much they really like Caleb Williams. And look, that doesn't mean they don't like the guy. I think they think he's a great prospect. But I think they're trying to trade down to number 2, and I think they're going to try and get Jane Daniels. I think that's their goal. I think that's a smart move because I think Washington would give up next year's number 1 and probably a 2nd or 3rd round pick this year, maybe even more, who knows, to move up 1 spot and get Caleb Williams. And I think this is what the Bears are trying to do. They're trying to send just a message, say, oh, look how much we love Caleb Williams. You would have to give us the moon if you want this guy. And Washington right now with their new GM, Adam Peters, Harris, their new owner, and of course, new head coach Dan Quinn, offensive coach Cliff Kingsbury are like, we want Caleb Williams, right? We like Daniels, we like Drake May, but we want Caleb Williams. We really, really want Caleb Williams. Everyone knows Washington really, really wants Caleb Williams. I think Ryan Poles is using this to try and squeeze Washington to see the best deal he can get out of them potentially to move back to number 2. I don't know if it'll happen or not. A lot of things still have to fall in place, but I think it's a very interesting update. I think it's a very interesting move by Ryan Poles. And this is it just seemed a little odd to me that such a large group of people came out for a pro day. Miles, what do you think of this? Am I being crazy? Am I tinfoil hat here, or is there something maybe here?
Well, when I look at it, I think it's just very interesting about just how many people came with the Bears to come watch this pro day. And like you said, the addition of Keenan Allen, but not only did Keenan Allen come, but he's all used. I showed a picture earlier. He's all decked out in Chicago's bear gear as well. It kind of seemed like a little bit of, like a parade entourage. Like they wanted their presence to be known. They wanted
A
people
little
to know.
much, right? It felt over the top.
Oh yeah, it felt like they were sending a message like, "Look, we're the Bears and we're here. Everybody recognize the Bears are at Caleb Williams
Yeah.
Pro Day. We
Yeah.
want you to see us here." Like, and not only so it's fine, you send everybody. That's one thing if you want to go watch Caleb Williams Pro Day. But the way that it was announced, the way that Keenan Allen was in the stand shaking hands with people walking around in his Bears gear, doing this whole thing, it's just a little bit too over the top for me to think there isn't a little bit of gamesmanship in here with the Bears trying to have that one last push to try to maybe either trade down to number 2 with Washington or just get any more interest in this first overall pick. Because, like I said, I think if given the opportunity at number 1, they probably go ahead and try to draft Caleb Williams. But like you said, they don't feel like they need to do it, and I think they're looking at all options to potentially get out of that number 1 spot and pick up a quarterback a little bit later down while getting some draft capital. We know Poles is famous for trading down, getting draft capital all the time. That is why they're in the position that they are in now, because we all know this number 1 pick was not their pick. It was the Carolina Panthers pick. So this is just, like I said, it's a little bit too much for me. I think there's too much gamesmanship. I think there's something going on here to what the Bears are doing.
Yeah, and I'm just pulling up like the stories from last offseason. And again, again, there's a difference between Caleb Williams and Bryce Young, obviously, but Bryce Young was a big prospect coming out of Alabama. His performance at Carolina, of course, got to forget that for a second. But all these reports, everything in the media is that Bears need to take Bryce Young. Bears need to take Bryce Young. They may trade out of it, but they really need to. They should draft Bryce Young. Not drafting Bryce Young would be a mistake. And I mean, that's 90% of the articles going back to this time last year, right? And the Bears were kind of the opposite approach. They were able to trade back. I wonder if the Bears, again, Brian Poles, same GM, obviously, they're looking at this like, hey, listen, last offseason, there was some ambiguity. A lot of people are saying we should have picked Bryce Young. We kept things close to the chest. We were able to trade out of it. What if we go over the top? And if by us going over the top, we freak out Washington and Washington feels like they need to make a move. I think that's what the Bears are doing here because it's just, you don't bring out a player, an NFL player to a college kids pro day. You just don't. It just doesn't happen. And you don't bring out 10 guys like this. It's one thing to bring out the GM, a scout, a quarterbacks coach, maybe an offensive coordinator, a head coach, some combination, but not everybody. Right? That just doesn't happen, right? It's just a waste of people's time. People are busy in the offseason watching film, game planning, scouting free agents, all that kind of stuff. Why would everybody go out? Like you said, Miles, I love what you said. It's almost like they were like, went over the top, like, hey, everybody, the Bears are here. Make sure you notice me. Make sure the Bears are here. Make sure everyone sees us, right? I felt that's what it is. And maybe I'm being a little too conspiracy oriented, but I really think Ryan Poles has another trick under his sleeve here. I'm excited to see how it hangs out. I think there's a better than 0% chance that he ends up trading to number 2 and gets a haul by doing it.